everyone, and welcome to Intrusive Thoughts. I'm your host, Adam Rippon, and I have thoughts that are intrusive that I would like to share with you. The first one is this, and it haunts me every breathing hour. Is that what people say? It haunts me every moment I'm alive. And it's from a listener. It's from one of you. Yeah. So somebody who does listen to the podcast is haunting me every single day. And I'm going to tell you what it is about. And it is obviously, okay, this podcast has been named two different things so far, right? I'm not taking a third name change off the table. It's been named The Podcast with Adam Rippon, the original name. If you know, you know. If you're an OG, you get it. And obviously, its current name, Intrusive Thoughts. Okay. Another name, somebody who does listen to the podcast, as I mentioned, they suggested the name Let Me Think About It with Adam Rippon. And I'm going to explain why that's a completely genius idea. And I think like, I wish I had thought of that. And yeah, I don't know, maybe it is not a genius idea, but I think it's brilliant because when I was skating, that's the name of one of the pieces of music that I skated to at the Olympics. It was actually like my favorite piece of music I've ever skated to, from a Danish singer, Ida Kor. Hope she's well. I have not a clue. No, haven't heard from her ever since she released that song in 2007. So I can't really share the good news about her. Hopefully it is good. If you are a watcher of the podcast and you watch the video, you might be seeing that I'm in what seemingly looks like an empty room. And if you're listening, everything should sound completely, absolutely the same. And you shouldn't have even worried about it. But now you are. And I'm going to explain where I am. I am currently in the medical spa that I'm trying to get together. And usually I record this podcast at my house, in my office. You can see an ironing board behind my head. You can see the mirrored closet doors resting on my shoulders. And today you are just seeing a blank wall in an echo-filled medical spa lobby. And that is because I knew that if I didn't bring this microphone with me today to the medical spa, because I'm cleaning it up, I would what some people would call this it's absolute in disarray. And I'm a bit in disarray as well. I'll be like completely honest, because I knew that if I didn't bring this with me, I'd at least have the motivation to do this here and now. But if I were to do this at home, I would think of 1,000 excuses, and I would lose the will. And I don't want to lose the will or the way to make a podcast. And I think I still got it. I think I still absolutely have got it. So what have I been doing today? Well, I will just share with you where I am in this process so far. So if you're a new time listener, welcome. If you're an old time listener, even just an episode or two, you will know that I'm in the process of starting a business, and that business is a medical spa. Okay. And I signed a lease a month ago, 2 months ago, and I've been trying to get this place ready. I've been painting it by myself, by the way, which was a larger task than I thought it would be. And today I thought I would do something which I thought would take 10 minutes, and it took 2 hours, which is sort of the name of the game when you're doing something like this, as I've learned. Okay, as I've learned, the name of the game is, hey, that'll take 5 minutes. I hope you have a few hours to donate to that. And that was, so this building is from the 1970s. And every time I tell my husband, JP, who is from Finland, oh, it's an old building from the 70s. He's like, what? That's not an old building. Because in Europe, buildings are 500 years old. Not here. Okay. Things aren't built to last. They're built to last a little bit. Okay. We're not building things out of solid brick anymore. We're building things out of wood. And that falls down and it burns sometimes. But not this building. This building is still erect. And I'm leasing from it. And it's actually I love this building. I think it's in great shape. It has a lot of charm. It's pretty. It's empty currently. I'm sitting in it. But one of the things I love is because it's like an old building from I'll repeat it, 1970s. It has a lot of like brass details. Like it has this beautiful like brass door handle and it has like little brass fixtures. And so because I'm an insane person, I'm getting more like brass fixtures for like the switch, like the light switches that you have, that we have. If you have light switches, you get like the plate cover. Well, the proper name for that, which I didn't know until about, I don't know, a year ago, it currently is switch plate. Okay. So instead of having white plastic switch plates, which I do think is awful, I have ordered like brass ones to kind of go along with the theme. Where am I going with this? I'm going to the thing that I did that I thought would take 10 minutes, which took 2 hours. And that is the door handles. And there's like a mailbox slot. I have 2 doors. So like I have a back entrance that's basically like a front entrance because it goes like right to the parking lot. This is like a medical building. Okay. I hope I'm like painting a picture for you. And then our like front door, I'm pointing to them. You can't see them. And if you're listening, you really can't see me pointing to them. I'm just letting you know what's going on and giving you some context. So to my left is the front door, which you could get to from the front of the building. I don't really think anybody's going to do that. I think everybody's going to come in through the back door because it's like a door that faces the parking lot and it's from the parking lot straight to our unit. So I think that's basically going to be like the front door, even though it's I say in quotes, back door. Doesn't matter. What I'm getting to is there's this beautiful like brass handle on it and the mail slot is this like brass thing. Brass. I love brass. I really do love brass, by the way. It's an acquired taste. Okay. Unless you're getting like it in antique brass, which is a style. But if you're getting polished brass, the thing about polished brass is that it can patina. Okay. I hope you're like listening and writing down all of these words. The first one today is switch plate. The next one is brass. And the next one is patina. Okay. And she's going to actually be a guest on the next episode of the podcast. Patina. Can't wait to talk to her at the studio in Beverly Hills. That's not where we are. Back to my current story. And I also, if you're still sticking around, thank you. Thank you for doing that. So I decided that I was going to polish the brass because it was like basically blackened by time. Who knows? Blackened by time. Title of episode. Okay. Let's write that down. So that's the patina. So like just from the elements of life, a shiny golden looking brass will get like a tarnish to it. And that's sort of like the allure of brass is getting the patina. But because I'm like a new tenant here, I'm like, you know what? We should be able to have the privilege of creating our own patina, right? I don't want the patina of the last tenant. I want my own. So I'm keeping like I'm not polishing or cleaning the handle on the exterior so that like everything still matches the building and I'm not like a sore thumb here. But on the interior, I polished the handles and I did think it would take 10 minutes. But let me tell you, that tarnish was deep, it was thick, and it's probably been here since 1976, the year the building was built. Because I was on my hands and knees because that is the level of the door, right? But for the theatrics of the story, hands and knees and I was scrubbing Brasso into this handle. Brasso is a name of brass or metal polish. You're learning a lot. And I, scrub a dub, and now I have golden, shiny golden, beautiful brass handles. Okay. And everything in this place I thought would take 10 minutes. I thought painting this place would take a day and a half. Cut to, it took almost 3 weeks. I know. Whatever. I also, if you listened to the episode last week, almost not promised, but teased that like I would be in New York and I would record from New York. I didn't do that, obviously, right? And I didn't do that not because I am a liar. I did that because I'm a liar. Yeah, I thought that I would have time, right? Like I didn't think that I would be tired from what I was doing, what was I doing? I mentioned I was going to the Team USA Media Summit. And it was just like a long day. And I did not have the wherewithal to record a podcast. And so alas, now we do it in a medical spot to be, right? And if you are watching the podcast, you might see I have little white dots on my little black tee shirt. And that is sort of I've been baptized by the spritzing of the Brasso from the OXO little toothbrush cleaner thing. OXO is that brand that is OXO that I always thought was pronounced OXO until I heard somebody pronounce it as OXO. And so now to paint the picture, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They make everything that you'd need for your kitchen, but at a price point that's like almost too expensive. But it's just cheap enough that you're like, I'll get it. It's like, it's nicer than the one that's a piece of shit next to it. Right? Because if you're buying things for your kitchen and you need like a tongs, right? Well, you're going to treat yourself to the tongs that have like the spring in it. And the ones that have the spring in it are going to be the OXO brand. And so you're like, I'm worth spending an extra $5. And so you do that. And so that's OXO. So to kind of reiterate where we were, not to jump around, I want to stay focused, is that I have white dots on my black tee, which are the spritz of Brasso from the OXO toothbrush looking cleaner. I really felt like I was doing something there until like the very end of toothbrush looking cleaner. Anyway, let's go back to the New York trip, and I can like talk about that for a second, but I feel like to kind of keep the show upbeat and doesn't sound like I'm having a true like breakdown, because I want to be uplifting today. Even though I gotta say, like, if you can see where I'm sitting right now, it does look like it doesn't look great, but it is different. Okay, so it's different. Let's read some text messages. Okay, the first one. Listen, Adam, at least you're not getting daily paper mail from Carnival Cruises. It could be worse. This is in reference to, I was talking about how I get an email almost every day from Carnival Cruises. And you're right, at least I am not getting the hard copy in the mail. That's crazy. But I'm going to take a look. You sent me a picture of it. And this is actually a good deal. It's not the worst thing in the world to be getting this mail, because it says 3 to 5 day cruises, $269 per person. Great fall savings, any length cruise. Oh, that's a good deal. But I am almost certain that the boat you'll be on is not going to be nice. That can't be right. Like, you can barely get a hotel room for one night for $260. right? You're not going on a cruise for 3 to 5 days. That's just not in the cards for you. So yeah, no, that's that's junk. Throw it out. I take it back. Let's do another text message. Adam, I found you through Jackie Schimmel. Love Jackie Schimmel. Okay, wait, actually, so wait, before I go on, I was on Bitch Bible, Jackie Schimmel's podcast, and which, if you haven't heard it, it's kind of like this. It's like a one-woman man show, and it's like somebody who's truly sick in the head, just alone, talking to themselves. And I think that Jackie and I do perform like the same art. And that art is the one man show. And we have it like kind of nailed down. And so that's Jackie Schimmel, if you've never heard of her, but you probably have, because she's famous. And I was on her podcast, I guess a few months ago already. Time flies when you're having fun. And I was on her podcast, and it was the first time we ever met. We connected like spiritually immediately. And either Jackie or I posted a picture to my Instagram story, and one of my cousins emailed me. Why did I say email? Why would a cousin email you? What a preposterous thing to say. One of my cousins texted me. I'm actually pretty scared that I said email as like the first thing that came to my head. Don't know why. All right. Whew. Deep breath. Take it from the top, Adam. You got this. So one of my cousins texted me through a text message, SMS, and said, "Oh my God, this is the greatest thing you've ever done." And now whenever I think of Jackie Schimmel, I think, wow, that is the greatest thing I've ever done. I want you to know that I've gone to the Olympic Games, right? I've met Michelle Obama. Yeah, I have, which I know that sounds fake, but it's true. And there's a picture of me, Nina Dobrev, and Conan O'Brien. If you could pick 3 names out of a fucking hat, I know, the 3 most random people. And Michelle Obama. I forgot to add her in. Yeah, so there's a picture somewhere on the internet of Adam Rippon, myself, Nina Dobrev, Michelle Obama, and Conan O'Brien in a step and repeat. And what was it for? Well, I would love to tell you. It was for a college signing day, which I never went to college, but it was a day of which I told people to sign up for college, which, make it make sense. But when Michelle Obama calls, you answer. And in that line, so I'm going to tell you, it was basically like, it was a ton of like celebrities. Can I say that without being electrocuted? Celebrities. And you would get put in these groups. And in these groups, that's how you would because we were all there to be like, sign up for college. But like, that's what it was. So like, we were there to be like, don't forget to sign up for like college. Like, I don't know, maybe things were due that day. I don't even know what that means. Is there just like one day that people, I'm telling you, this is the first time in my life that I've ever thought about that day in like greater detail than just I met Michelle Obama. So actually, let's you, first of all, listener, thank you so much for this text message. We'll get to it in a second. I'm thinking of a story I need to tell. And the story is this. So I was asked to go and be a part of this college signing day with Michelle Obama. And obviously I said yes. I wondered, not I wondered, I'm going to tell you what, because it's all coming back to me like in a flash and quickly. And there's a part of the story which I wonder if I'll tell, and I think I will, because I think it's important. And I'm going to tell it. Whatever. Who cares? So they say like wear the like college merch, like where you went to school, your alma mater. I don't know if that's how you say it because I didn't go to school, right? Like there's no school calling me asking for donations. Carnival Cruises, like me and a listener here, they're getting back to us every day. And I assume that's what it's like to hear from your alma mater. Again, this is like a word I've never had to say out loud. And it's like I'm being vulnerable. Okay. And does this story lead back to like Jackie Schimmel in any way? No. So don't like hold on to that one quickly, but we can talk about her again, I promise. But for now, let's talk about me for just a second. So I was asked to do this thing and, it said like wear your like college memorabilia. I'm avoiding the word alma mater. Alma mater. Alma mater. Somebody help me, please. Okay. I'm going to need a voicemail. Somebody needs to call me and like help me explain what that word is. No matter to the alma mater. I thought, well, I'll just wear like some Team USA gear, right? That's my college. Okay. Trapdoor, fall through right now. And that's what I wore because that's my college, as I, just said. And so we go to this thing and you're like met at the door. And then there's like all these like other celebrities. Okay. Now, I'm not calling myself a celebrity. I'm just saying I was there with other people who I would categorize as celebrities. All right. And so in this line, you get paired up with, it was like predetermined who you'd be paired up with. Okay. And I was in the famous trio of Adam Rippon, Nina Dobrev, and Conan O'Brien. So it's the three of us who are paired together. And everybody's sort of like making small talk. And so like they're like, you are all going to meet Michelle Obama, but it's to like take a photo and say hi. And she wants to just thank you for being here. And so I'm like, great. I only need a second with Michelle and then I can like let her be on her way. And so in the line, if I like, I'm like vaguely remembering. And it's so basically you're going to go, if you've ever done like a meet and greet at like a concert, which like I haven't also done that, but I'm imagining it's like this because I have another story where I was like in a meet and greet at a concert. Okay, wait, pin in that. We will go back to that. That's another story. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to focus. Okay. So I'm in this line. And like I said, it's me, Conan O'Brien, and Nina Dobrev. You couldn't put three more random people in a group setting. Or could you? Because in front of me in line is Lea Michele. And, I know people love her or hate her. And I'm going to say, I'll go on the record and be like, it was pretty not nice that she told that girl that she was going to shit in her wig, which is, I'll go on record and say that's an absolutely fucking insane thing to ever say to anyone. I want to shit in your wig. And I think about that Lea Michele every day, I think. That's such a crazy thing. And I just want you to know, like, I'm not forgetting that. Okay. She can sing, but she did say she was going to shit in someone's wig. All right. Now, in this line, Lea Michele is ahead of me. And I'm going to say this is like pre-COVID. So this is pre-wig shitting. Okay. This is this is pre-funny girl, right? This is pre-vaccine. That's the Lea Michele that we're at, right? And I'm I'm behind her, and I'm going to say we hit it off. We had like a good back. When I say hit it off, I mean like we had a few back and forth quippy things. Like, that's now my friend Lea. Okay. So that's my interaction with Lea. Now with Conan, we're kind of just like small talk here and there, whatever. Now, with Nina, she doesn't really seem interested in talking to me at all. That is fine. She can probably sniff out, I never went to fucking college. And I'm here on my Instagram story going, sign up for the college today, everyone, to your alma mater. Like it alma matters that you go to school. Like I've never been to college. She can tell. She can smell blood in the water. Okay. That's Nina Dobrev for you. So I'm like, you know what? She doesn't give a fuck. And we get in this line and it's finally like our turn. And Michelle, she looks at me and she's like, thank you so much for being here. And I said, it's actually no problem. And then Conan is like, I think they've met before. Who knows? I don't know. But then Nina Dobrev, who's in a white jacket, which this will come in as useful information later, says, hey, I would love to talk to somebody. She had some idea that she was like trying to pitch to Michelle Obama, like right here in the step and repeat. And when she was saying that, Michelle was like still holding on to like my arm. And so I want you to know that Michelle Obama was using me as sort of like a human, not shield. She was just taken up in the story. Okay. You decide for yourself, whatever. Okay. I'm moving on. And she goes, I'd love to talk to somebody. And Michelle goes, there's someone behind there. You go to them and we can talk. It was something about, cause like they had their production company. She was like talking in reference to that. And I got to say, I'm going to say this also on record. I really respected that in the moment that Nina Dobrev had with Michelle Obama, that she was thinking to herself, I'm going to pitch an idea. Because I didn't pitch an idea, right? Because I was too worried that Michelle Obama was going to ask me what my alma mater was. You know, I was too worried Michelle Obama was going to ask me where I went to college, right? I haven't been on a hit show like Nina Dobrev. Not even close. Actually, I have been on hit shows. I haven't been on one like casted in one. Okay. Let me just say this. I'm no Nina Dobrev. Okay. I know that. You know that. I know that. We all know that. Nobody's questioning that. I can hear somebody screaming. There's no need. I'm in the middle of a story. So here's the deal. We take the picture, and this is after Nina Dobrev has tried to Shark Tank something to Michelle Obama in a step and repeat at a college signing day. And the picture is taken, and Nina says something like, I cannot remember the full details, but I remember the white coat. So what happens is this. She says something and Michelle is like, go talk to that person. So to Nina, because she has the idea, right? I'm like, Michelle, it's been a blast. Love you. See you soon. And she does like her thing. And by that, I mean, Michelle Obama continued to take pictures with other celebrity people who were in groups and pairings just as random as Nina Dobrev, Adam Rippon, Conan O'Brien. Okay. It's just as like out of left field, out of pocket. And so like before we can leave, we like get to the other side of the curtain and we're kind of like sitting in place for a second because there's a few like gift things that we're going to be getting, which were like a pair of sneakers or something. Okay. It's like very fuzzy. It's very fuzzy this whole day. And so we're waiting for this pair of sneakers and I like turn to Nina and I say, oh my God, you are so brave for wearing white. If I put that jacket on, I'd have ketchup on it in 2 seconds flat. And I want you to know the way that I like delivered that, like it was quicker, it was better. The timing was there, right? Like that, what I just said was, you know, I don't know. I said, again, it's like, it's so fuzzy. It's so fuzzy, but please, like, please bear with me. And so I said something along the line of like, if I put that white jacket on, there'd be spaghetti sauce on it. I don't know. I can't, like, I said something like I would get it stained, which, like, when I said it, I went, oh, that good rhythm. If you know what I mean, right? Okay. But the point is, I said, you're so brave for wearing white. She looked at me in the eyes and then she turned around, and that's the last time I ever fucking saw her. And as a joke, I have been saying that I don't have any enemies, but my one enemy is Nina Dobrev. She didn't think I was funny, and I got in her way when she tried to pitch Michelle Obama a hit television show. And so I'm sure she's a lovely girl, but I always think of that day. And I always think of those sneakers, because we did get a pair of sneakers. And then the rest of the day was like a total, like, then you kind of get like corralled out. Like, then it's sort of like over, right? Like, you asked people to go to college. Now it's time for you to go home, but not before you run into BB Rexa, who's about to go on stage. Okay. It's just like, it's a day, like a domino effect of just like the most random people. Like I said, like one after another, after another, after another. So, like, just to recap, you're going to become friends, best lifelong friends with Leah Michelle. Then you will get in a line with Nina Dobrev, who wants nothing to fucking do with you, and Conan O'Brien, who's about 6'5", right? And he has friends there. He has a ton of friends. He's going to make a few like small talk things to you, but he's got friends he's catching up with. You get it. I get it, right? Everybody in this line went to college. So, like, it's a college thing. So that's where it is. And then Nina Dobrev is going to pitch a show to Michelle Obama, and she's going to tell her to talk to some lady behind the counter. And when I say counter, I mean curtain. And then you're going to tell Nina Dobrev, compliment her on her outfit. Again, she's going to basically wish that you drop dead. And you're going to go, all right, that's my mortal fucking enemy. Enemy number one. Have you ever not gotten along with someone? Yeah, Nina Dobrev. Let me say that from the mountaintops. That was the part of the story where I was like, should I even like go there? Because this is like a completely one-sided beef, because I'm sure she doesn't remember me at all, even though we were next to each other for a solid 10 minutes and Michelle Obama held me in her arms like a baby in front of her while she was trying to pitch a show, right? So while Nina Dobrev was trying to pitch a show, Michelle Obama was holding me. And did that show ever get made? Maybe. I don't know what she was trying to pitch. But she said, I have an idea. I remember thinking as this was all happening, Nina Dobrev going, I have an idea that I would love to talk to you about. And I remember thinking, this is the work of an insane woman. But who do I admire? I admire Nina Dobrev, because that took some gut. You were going to meet Michelle Obama for 2 seconds. That is like what they write stories and movies about, of somebody who like shot their shot. So like, I can say that I'm in a one-sided beef. This isn't a beef. I just consider her like I respect her, and she's my enemy all at the same time. And to her, I'm just a picture that she took with Michelle Obama. I'm like guaranteeing you that like when I said this, she wasn't hearing anything. She was looking for like that woman behind the counter, even though like we were going to be stuck together for another like 2 minutes after that, which we were, by the way. Okay. So, oh my God, I could never wear white. I just, I put it on, I get spaghetti sauce on it. Not a great joke in retrospect. Not a bad joke. It's a joke that you would tell to somebody that you're in line with. Okay. It's like a small talk joke. And I want you to know, looked me, not up and down. She did not even give me the time to look me up and down. She just looked at me, looked away, and we never spoke again. And we probably never will. Maybe we will. And maybe we'll be back. Maybe she'll be a guest. Could you imagine? I got to know what she was trying to pitch. Again, like I haven't thought about this in a really long time. But if you're one of my friends, you do know that I do speak of, I don't say anything bad about her. And I always say that I respect her for what she did. But I do always say that Nina Dobrev is my mortal enemy. If I have one enemy in Hollywood, it's Nina Dobrev. And maybe I'm the only person. And it's only because she didn't laugh at my spaghetti sauce joke, which again, I'm not going to like, it's not the hill I'll die on. It was like funny enough for like a haha. And she couldn't do that because she was trying to Shark Tank something. And I get it. The hustle. Okay. That's that story. And so I have no idea where that picture is, but there is a picture that lives on the internet, that lives on the internet of Adam Rippon, myself, Michelle Obama, Nina Dobrev, who's in the middle of a pitch, and Conan O'Brien. So they're somewhere out there. If you can find it, I would love to see it. I really would. It's from a college signing day event. And if you could, please don't Michelle Obama me. If you could, please do not tell Michelle Obama that I did not go to college. Because that feels like that should have been some research that was done, right? It feels like her team should have kind of sorted that one out before I got there of, hey, that kid didn't go. And she probably said, just put him in line with Nina Dobrev. Who cares? Now I'm just thinking out loud. Okay. So that being said, on the record, I want you to know I respect Nina Dobrev for doing that. But she does not remember me. And if she did, probably doesn't care about me at all, which is completely fine. Because like I said, enemy number one. She's on my list of potential guests on the podcast. I can't wait. That being said, that's making me think of something else. I've gotten like 1 or 2 text messages. And first of all, I want you to know that like, I think some of you are unwell. I'm going to say that. And I like that about you, but it's true because the text messages were, and like, I want you to know, I think I'm on your side, right? When I'm going to say what I'm going to say, I'm on your side of this story. And it is like, I'll have an episode with a guest and someone will text. It's not the same person. These are different people and go, hey, I just like really hate when you have guests on the show. No offense to whomever was a guest, right? And you can guess who the guest they're talking about is. Actually, you can't guess because there's only been like a few and it has truly nothing to do with the guest. They go, I just like don't like listening to conversations, which fair. That is completely valid and fair. You just don't like listening to conversations. And I'm going to say a few things. And these are I think I've only gotten these messages twice from 2 people. And so this is like a 2-for-1 text message answer. And I'm going to say this. Having a guest on the podcast helps bring awareness to the show. Okay. And also having a guest on the podcast is just, I want you to know that when I started doing this podcast, I thought like, oh, it'll be like so fun and easy to just sit and talk for anywhere between 45 standard minutes and an hour. And I was right? Like I was completely right. Like that is fun. And so I like to do that. But I will also say that every once in a while, it's nice to talk to another human being. And so for my own sanity, if you don't like the episodes where I have guests, I'm just going to say, can you please, for the love of God, let me speak to another human person for an hour, right? Because sometimes I do feel that talking to yourself takes a toll on your, not mental health, mental well-being. All right? Mental well-being. And I'm just going to say it's fun. Let me have a little fucking fun for once. Okay? So I'm going to have a little fun, but I hear you. And this is why I'm going to get back to like I'm on your side, because there are some podcasts that I listen to that I love like when the hosts are just talking between each other. And then when they have a guest on, I'm like, I don't give a shit about this person. And so I'm like completely guilty of that. And when the host of like the podcast that I might listen to, when they don't have a guest and they're like, we're so sorry we don't have a guest, I'm like, don't be sorry. It's so much better this way. So like, I get it, but I want you to think of when I have a guest on the show, it's like something, it's like a treat, right? It's a treat for me, not for you. Maybe it's a treat for you too, but it's a treat for me. Just to kind of give like the old noggin a little bit of like a sparring partner. Because it can get a bit scary when you just like get better at speaking to yourself for 1 solid hour straight, right? There's minimal cuts on the show. When I first started doing this show, I was doing a lot of like quick cuts. But now the podcast one editors, they're going, no, we're going to do it pretty much like live. And people also asked, like do less cuts. We just want to hear you talk. And so now you're hearing me talk. All right. But I want you to know, I get what you're saying. Okay. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You like when it's just me and we keep it pure and simple. I get that. But just think of those episodes where I get to have a guest on as just like, it's a treat for me. Okay. It is what it is, but I hear you. Okay. Cause I completely get what you're saying. Whatever. Also, that's very crazy to text that. I just want also you to know that I think that's crazy. It's like the same level of like pitching Michelle Obama a show in the middle of a step and repeat line. Oh, okay. One more story. I know that like I said I would read this text message about Jackie Schimmel. God bless her. We love that. We love the girl. I don't even think this message is about her. I think this is how they found me. This is how I want people to find me, through Jacqueline Schimmel. Okay. But this is reminding me of, have I ever been to a concert where there is a step and repeat? Yes, I have. So there was a time, this is like shortly after the Olympics, when I was at it was a Salesforce event in San Francisco, California. Love the place. So it was like a Salesforce event, and Janet Jackson, this is like a very name-droppy episode, by the way. So be it, whatever. Okay, Janet Jackson is performing, and I can see this like gay guy who's like sort of my handler at this like moment. He's shuffling me around, and I'm with somebody else who I was working with or something. Okay. Again, very fuzzy. I don't remember like the fringe details, but I do remember like the meat and potato details of things. Okay. So the fringe details of what I'm referring to is like, I don't want you to think like I was alone being corralled by some like random gay guy. Okay. Like I was with people that like I knew, and we were all being corralled by this random gay guy. Okay. So this is like, it's not like me being abducted. It wasn't like that. But I can see this gay guy is really trying to pull off something special for me. He's trying to do something really nice. And I can tell because I see he's like, you know how when someone, you can feel their anxiety, but it's not like a nervous anxiety. It's like an excited anxiety. That's what I was feeling from this guy, that he wanted to pull off like a stunt for me. And I could see him like on his phone and texting and like looking at me and making sure I was like enjoying myself at this like Janet Jackson performance, which like, imagine if I'm like, ugh, I'm not. It's Janet Jackson, right? Like, of course I'm going to be enjoying myself. And there comes a point where this guy, he turns to me and he goes, hey, Adam, we're going to go backstage. Janet would really like to meet you. And I know that that sounds like an insane thing, but this was like post-Olympics. And so my mind never even thought like, why the fuck would Janet Jackson want to meet you? my mind went, of course, of course she does post-performance want to meet me. Why not? And I'd love to meet the girl. I'm sure she's lovely, would love to meet Janet. And I say, oh my God, I would love to meet her. And so I get taken backstage and I'm slowly figuring out Janet did not want to meet me. But what this gay man was able to achieve was he was able to get me into the step and repeat with Janet Jackson so that I could meet her. Okay. So I was in one of those step and repeat lines. And I want you to know that when you get into one of those lines and it's with somebody like Janet Jackson, there's going to be a security guard on the opposite side of the curtain that she is behind. And they're going to say, don't touch her, take your picture and leave. And that's when it really sunk in that like Janet was not there to meet me. And also the other giveaway was like I was in a line with like 200 other people that I was somehow put in the front of. Okay. And I think that's what we were on the phone. When I say we, that's what the gay guy was on the phone trying to like pull off. And I'm sure now that I'm like thinking about it, because again, like I didn't overthink the situation at all. And then when I like figured out, I'm like, oh, I'm like in a step and repeat line. I was like, I'll make the most of this. And I pitched her a show. No, I'm kidding. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I want to meet Janet Jackson? Like now I get to meet Janet Jackson. Now it's all about me instead of, oh, this is like a thing I'm doing for Janet. Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself today because I'm being so annoying. I'm not. I want to live and I want to tell the story. So now I'm figuring out, what happened. Because again, like I did not overthink this. I didn't really think to overthink this. But now I'm figuring out exactly like the order of events. And I think it went something like this. I want Adam to go and meet Janet. And you've got to put him at the front of the line and tell her who she's meeting. I've kind of like just in this moment put it all together. That's what I think happened. And I think that's where this gay guy found the confidence to look at me in the eye and say, Janet really wants to meet you. And I'm almost certain nobody told Janet a damn word. Why should they? First of all, again, this is like post-performance. Or maybe it's pre-performance. Who knows? Again, the fringe details. If I had to like really think about it, I could tell you, but it's like so not important. But you know what is important? So before I continue to finish that, I have been in a step and repeat to take a picture with a celebrity. And those two celebrities were Janet Jackson and Michelle Obama. Okay. In the Janet Jackson line, I was alone again. To meet Michelle Obama, I was in line with Conan O'Brien and Nina Dobrev, my mortal enemy. I'm sure she's a lovely girl. Wasn't she just on a yacht with some like famous person? She's also famous, but with another she's like dating somebody else. She used to date Shaun White. And so I was like, I'm going to see Nina Dobrev everywhere because she's Shaun White, famous Olympian. But we never ran into each other. And now there's even less of a chance. It's just the way the universe works. Let me get back to this one fucking text message. Okay. And then I think it's time to call it. So, I'm just like looking. I just had like a moment of absolute panic where I was like, you haven't been recording anything. Luckily, oh my God, I'm crossing my fingers. Luckily, I've recorded this entire thing. This is really, thank God. This is all really important. Now, back to the text message. About an hour ago, I started reading, Adam, I found you through Jackie Schimmel and love the pod. Thank you. It was great to hear about your Metro Detroit driving experiences. As a fellow native Pennsylvanian who is now a Detroit Metro person, I'm curious about your most ratchet Detroit Metro experience. And they go on to share theirs. Mine is buying an old house, moving in, and having headaches for a month before I realized there was a moldy dog food in the vent next to my bed from the previous owner. Breathing moldy meat air. I guess it could happen anywhere, but it happened in Metro Detroit. And it's my favorite ratchet experience here so far. Of course, the vents have been cleaned, and I no longer have headaches. Well, one, I want to say, I never thought that someone would describe the air they breathe as meat air. Until today, you have an absolute valid reason for calling that meat air. Because as somebody who owns a dog, I do know that the kibble they eat is just like cubes of meat. Maybe there's some grain in there. Sometimes it's grain free. But so yeah, you were just inhaling pumpkin and beef. Or salmon and rice, but some sort of protein you were taking in to the lung, and maybe two if you have both. You were taking them into both lungs. And yeah, you're right to call it meat air. So, which also sounds like a budget airline. What are you taking? Meat air, but it's like foreign. And means like meet me. Meet me at the destination. Actually, I could see that kind of airline existing and them not even thinking twice about like people associating it with like steak or like ground beef. And they're going, no, it's like meat air. Like we'll meet in the air. Right? It's like not, I would never do that because it's like not clever enough. It's like not funny. But I could see somebody who's not funny thinking it's funny and clever and then making that airline. Does that, I feel like that makes sense to me. I don't think I'd laugh at that joke. Kind of like the joke I told Nina Dobrev, by the way, which like wasn't funny as I'm like repeating it almost 8 years later. My bad, whatever. So Metro Detroit. So where did I live? I lived in a quaint old town called Auburn Hills, Michigan. That's the full name of the town, Auburn Hills, Michigan. So I lived in Auburn Hills, which if memory serves correctly, was near like an arena that's called like the Palace, maybe. I really don't know. But I will tell you what I lived right across the street from, and it was the Great Lakes Crossing outlet mall thing. So if you've ever been there, like if you're from the Detroit metro area and you've ever been to like Great Lakes Crossing and you've noticed like an apartment building across the street, I did live there at one point all the way in the back. Yeah, all the way in the back. If I remember, if memory serves correctly, it's a giant apartment, like village almost. And in that village, I lived in the back. I'm like, I've also not thought about this apartment in so long. I just got this like chill of like fall air in my mind, like not in actual life. Michigan is pretty. It's a pretty place. Now, ratchet experience. I think my like most ratchet experiences probably involve me oh no, I know one. Okay. Wow. This is what happens when you don't, let's say it together, prep an answer. This is what happens when you go live, is you remember traumatic events. And so if you know this area well, there's Great Lakes Crossing. And then if I'm right, and I could be wrong, right? I don't want to be wrong, but I could be wrong. There's like another like little like strip mall-ish sort of place where there's a DSW like up the street. Maybe it's up the street. I can't remember. And my most ratchet experience is that I got into a car accident. The only one, I'm knocking on fucking wood. I do not want to ever get one. I don't ever want to get in one again, right? Not that people are like, I really hope it happens today. Okay, I just don't want to get in another one. But I was in one. And I want to tell you the context of like how I got where I was. And the context is this. It was raining. And I was in the first car that I ever owned, a Subaru Outback. which used to be a cop car. Okay. So like it was formerly owned by like a police officer. It was like an undercover cop car. So it had like nail holes in it from like where they'd put the like the lights. Okay. Former cop car. And I'm going to tell you, they ran that thing into the ground because the gas pedal wouldn't always work. Does that make sense? If you've ever had like a car that wasn't like totally with you, you'll get it. It wasn't the brake. I feel like people always associate like the brakes didn't work. But for me, it was like the gas pedal. Like I could floor it and nothing would happen. Or if I like kind of lightly tapped the gas pedal, like it could get going a little bit. It just felt like I couldn't get it going all the time. And it was like inconsistent enough where I was like, I'll still get on the highway. I'm still going to drive this thing. I still got to get places. And the day that I really needed to get places was this. It's raining. I'm getting off of the highway. I think if I'm right, I'm questioning myself a lot this episode. I hate to do that. I wish to be more certain. But I'm getting off of the highway, the 75, and I need to like get off and I need to cross like a street that's like 3 streets and then get into a turning lane because I'm getting off of the highway and I need to get to DSW. All right. Remember when I said a DSW is nearby? Now, why do I need to get to the DSW? Well, I need to get there because they have, and this was brand new. I heard from a friend of mine that at that DSW, they had Le Sport Sac products. Now, what's Le Sport Sac? Le Sport Sac is like a gym bag, right? It's like a little makeup case. Like it's nothing. No, I'm not going to talk it down. Le Sport Sac is it's a nice product. Okay. And I had heard from a friend of mine that Le Sport Sacs at DSW they were putting I think it's purple, a purple 40% off sticker on all the Le Sport Sac products. And if there's one thing I love, it's a designer item on clearance. And I'm considering Le Sport Sac like designer. It's like, it is just a nylon sack, but it will sometimes be like $100 or like a little zipper pouch will be like $40. Okay. And they're doing 40% off. And I'm like, oh God, I need to get over there. I need to get over to DSW. It is important. It's raining. So I cut across, I get off the highway. I look, but again, the gas pedal, it's like a bit faulty. So I'm going, I make it. And then as soon as I make it into the turning lane, I hear this like a boom. And by hear, I mean feel and hear. And a woman had driven into the back of my car. And so one would think, now I didn't see her. So I do believe that it was not my fault. But she said, I didn't see you. So who's to say what happened? All I do know that I was visibly shaken. I wasn't crying, not a baby, but I was like, oh my God, I just got into an accident. And I want you to know that I did kind of put my big boy pants on. After the police came, we had to call the police. And, you know, I think that woman, I was like, oh my God, I didn't see you either. And she was like, you must have just come out of traffic. I was like, I did. But when the police officer there, I did kind of get my wits about me. And I said, she hit the back of me, officer. So you tell me what happened, because I didn't see her and she didn't see me. Again, who's to say what happened? This is not a story of driver blame. This is a story of how I collected myself, and I did go to the DSW and I did get some Le Sport Sac pouches that I still use to this day. And so I just want you to know that, like, even when you come into a hard situation where the police need to be called and you need to kind of exchange insurance information, that if you had a plan for that day, you should stick to it. Right? Don't distract yourself from the plan that God has from you, that God has from you, right? This is why it would be nice to have a guest every once in a while, okay? Because it would just kind of let me keep my wits about me. because you can see I'm losing my mind slowly but surely. And that's the end of the show. And I really hope that it was a good one. Kind of can't remember what did we even talk about? I think I didn't even tell you about New York. We'll do that. Listen, we'll do that in the next episode because I will be going back to New York. But for a skating competition. I'm not competing. Not that anybody thought I was. But yes, this is the end of the episode. And I just want to thank you so much for listening and staying by me and supporting me through these trialing times. And we're all good. Everything's all good. And the times aren't that trialing. They're good, right? I've been busy and I've been good. I'm trying to figure, I was going to say something and I'm just saying words to kind of like fill the air. I'm going to just call it and say, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Intrusive Thoughts. I'm your host, Adam Rippon. If you would like, and I would like you to text or call the podcast, you can. The podcast hotline number is 310-909-7117. As you can see, sometimes I read a text message with the hope that I'd get through it and it wouldn't take 45 minutes to an hour. And sometimes it does. Sometimes I do a few. And sometimes I even do voicemails. But I guess I had voicemails ready to go today, by the way. But alas, I did need to tell you about Conan O'Brien, Nina Dobrev, and Janet Jackson, and Michelle Obama, and Lea Michele. And I think it was worth it. But if you would like to find that number, you can find it in my Instagram profile so that you don't need to remember it. And with that being said, thank you so much for listening. Give the podcast a call or a text. I'll be waiting. I'll be checking. And that's it. So for me, it's time for me to kind of get out of this shirt that's covered in Brasso. I do have a bit of Brasso on my pants too. So I'm going to take care of that. And you take care of yourself. All right. Love you. And I will see you next time here on Intrusive Thoughts. Bye.